Welcome to the Columbus Regional Logistics Supply Chain 360. My name is Adam Hirschfeld, and I have the pleasure to serve as the Executive Director of Student Success here at Ohio Dominican. On behalf of Acting President Gridlinger and the University Leadership Team, we welcome you to campus today and hope you enjoy your time. I know that we greatly appreciate and working with the supply chain industry. We work to educate our own professionals in your field through our supply chain management program. As a Catholic organization, we've been called by Pope Francis to follow the Laudato Si initiative action platform, Care for Our Common Home. 2 of the 7 goals of that initiative include adoption of sustainable lifestyles and ecological education, both of which I can see through your agenda today are very important to all of you in your industry. At Ohio Dominican, we have been working on this initiative over the past few years, including just receiving a grant from SWACO to strengthen our recycling initiative on campus. We greatly value and appreciate your industry having these very important conversations. Again, we welcome you to campus and hope you enjoy your day. I'd like to now introduce and welcome Christine Boucher, the Director of the Columbus Regional Logistics Council with the Columbus Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, bear with me. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Oh, now I know you're awake. Very good. And is there more coffee? Because they're going to need it. It's coming. Coffee's coming if you're looking for it. So welcome to the CRLC Supply Chain 360, Embracing Circular Economies and Sustainability. We work as hard as we can to make our titles as long as they can be. So we've accomplished that. Thank you all for joining us today. As Adam mentioned, I'm Christine Boucher. I'm proud to be the Director of the Columbus Region Logistics Council for the Greater Columbus Chamber of Commerce. If you don't know, the CRLC, because everything's an acronym, was started 16 years ago in 2008. So there's still a lot of work, a lot of professional development to be done. Things are changing. We have responsibilities to the change in bringing you content that helps keep you informed. My hope is that today, at the end of the day, you can walk away with at least one thing that you can take back to your facilities, your locations, and implement. We have lots of opportunities for you to learn something new, and so we're very proud to be able to offer this for you. One thing that when I think about this topic, I remember as a young girl, my grandparents telling me 2 things. One, if I didn't finish what was on my plate, there's starving kids somewhere in the world that could eat that, so I would finish my plate. But the other thing was about our environment. If we don't take care of our environment, nobody else is going to do it for us. And so here we are in a room where this is what we want to do. We want to be responsible citizens. I brought my daughter, Mackenzie, with me today. Mackenzie, wave. Stand up. Stand up. Yep. Because this is where we can also start. We can start with the youth. Now, if I had younger children, which I don't, thank goodness, I would have brought them too, because this is where they need to know, and they want to know. They're very responsible, environmentally responsible citizens. The generations that are coming up are very passionate about their environment, and I share this with you because while some folks say, well, that generation doesn't want to work, they do want to be socially responsible with the environment. So I would encourage you to remember that when you are looking towards hiring in an area where they can be an impact for you in recycle, reuse, whatever the R's are. Sheila always tells me, and I don't know the other R, I forgot it. What is it? Recycle, reuse, reduce, reduce, recycle. Thank you. By the way, Sheila, and she will talk about the committee in a bit. Sheila from SWACO Davis, she is on the advisory board with the CRLC, and she and the committee of 3 others are responsible for all of this. So thank you, Sheila, for all the work you do. All right, so let's get to launch off here with the panel, but first, I have lots of thank yous. Thank you to our moderator, Joe Lombardi, with SWACO. Thank you to our panelists, Shannon Crawford-Gay, Ryan Hatfield, and Sean State. Thank you to our presenting sponsors, with whom, if they were not our sponsors, we would not have an event of the impact that we have today. And those presenting sponsors are Schneider Downs and USI for their continued support. So thank you to them. Thank you to our impact sponsors, FC Bank and FST Logistics. Thank you to our signature sponsor, Ignite Industrial Professionals, which, great, we got them all up here. And then thank you to our venue sponsors, Crimson Cut Coffee and Tea and Ohio Dominican University. And finally, I want to mention that the other part of today, aside from the panel that you're going to hear and the breakout sessions that are upstairs, in between each breakout session, or in between each session, there's about 10 minutes. There are several vendors up there that want to share information with you. Please take an opportunity of that time between your sessions to visit those vendors, and they are listed here on the screen. So thank you very much for that. And now it is my pleasure to welcome Vince. Vince, where are you?
Here.
Vince, help me.
Jackaloni.
Thank you. I even got the phonetic spelling and still didn't do it. President and shareholder of USI. Thank you very much.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? That's a little close. Good morning. So I'm Vince Jackaloni. I know lots of you in this room, but we want to know more, which is somewhat of the theme of today's introduction. Thank you to CRLC for putting us together, getting us in this room. We've got a jam-packed day, and we're happy to be the presenting partner. Today's half-day workshop will deliver a wealth of information for the warehouse and logistics operations professionals in the room, ESG leaders, business owners. We've got a breakout session that's going to appeal to you all, and it's not fluff, as my team likes to call it. This is real strategy, and I think you're going to get a lot out of it. We're just scratching the surface when it comes to sustainability and the circular economy here. There's so much content, so take it in, digest it, network, and enjoy yourselves today. Little plug about USI, and I promise I'll be brief. So for those of you that don't know us, we are the 4th largest insurance firm in the United States. Locally here, we represent 300 logistics companies in the Midwest. That's 3,000 nationally. We are the industry leader within the transportation, 3PL logistics space when it comes to insurance. And what do I mean by that? Property casualty, health insurance, which is the practice that I lead for your employees. We do retirement services, we do personal risk. So it's a full service insurance brokerage firm. Those numbers mean nothing outside of the combined 150 years of service expertise that we have. And so for all my HR directors in the room, we have a team and they're experienced, and I'm looking at a couple of our clients who know they have been there so long and they're the reason for our success, and so I can't talk about the numbers without our team. We do a great job for our clients and we're proud of that, and we, again, if we don't know you, would love to talk to you. And so come meet John, come meet Brian today, and again, enjoy yourselves. Thank you for coming, and have a great day. Introducing Brandon Embrius, Senior Audit Manager with Schneider Downs, to take us from here. So, Brandon.
Thank you, Vince. I was just assuming I was no introduction necessary. And yes, that is actually me. I know it doesn't look like it. Most men lose hair with age. For somehow I went the other way. But anyway, thank you all for joining us today. At today's event, we are very happy to bring the supply chain and logistics community together to share insights, experiences, and knowledge of individuals in the industry and supply chain As Vince said, my name is Brandon Embrius. I'm a senior audit manager with Schneider Downs. If you're not familiar with us, we are a full service accounting and business advisory firm. We've been around for, gosh, close to 60 years now, I think. 35 years here in Columbus. We've got about 500 professionals between 3 offices in Pittsburgh, here in Columbus, and Washington, D.C. And we're highly focused on the transportation and logistics space. I won't bore you too much because I know we're here for the speakers, but if anyone is interested or would like to talk, please come see me or one of my colleagues after the event. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Sheila Davis, Business Programs Administrator with SWACO.
Morning. As you know, I'm Sheila Davis, the Business Program Administrator here. I wanted to thank Christine Boucher for being our Director of the CRLC here and the committee members that helped make the event happen today, Chris Smith, Vince Castillo, and Jill Coleman. And as a reminder, after our last breakout session, that is the end of our half-day seminar. We're not gathering here again for a final word like we did last year. You're free to network and go about your day. Also, mark your calendar, August 15th. We'll all be back here for the Supply Chain Evolution event, which is an all-day event. And as most of you who do know me, I like to talk trash and recycling. As the business program person here at SWACO, it's really important for us to work with businesses to divert material from the landfill and help them navigate how to solve for how to recycle materials and the technical assistance that you might need to achieve your sustainability goals. Recently I saw truckloads of office furniture coming into the landfill because the business wasn't aware that there were other options. And they were literally unloading an office building downtown floor by floor. And sadly that stuff very well. Some of it could have been junk and needed to come, but there are other solutions. And that's what I'm here to do to help you. So let's connect, let's have a conversation, it's free. I can point you in the right direction for different resources. We need help. We need help to divert that valuable material so it doesn't come to the landfill. So now I would like to introduce you to today's moderator, Executive Director of SWACO, Joe Lombardi. Before joining SWACO, Mr. Lombardi achieved over 30 years of government experience, focusing on leadership, financial management, procurement, policy, and administration. Mr. Lombardi served as Mayor Andrew Ginther's Director of Finance and Management from 2016 to 2020. In that position, he oversaw an operating budget of $1 billion and a capital budget of nearly $3 billion, helping to guide the city of Columbus through a global pandemic and managing federal funds to help the most economically vulnerable. Presently, Mr. Lombardi is responsible for leading a staff of 125 employees, guiding the overall mission and vision of SWACO. Recent achievements include opening the new convenience center, the first in the county, funding more programs to help schools and businesses recycle more, fostering new partnerships for increasing our community's overall diversion efforts. And with that, I give you our program, The State of Circularity in Central Ohio.
Thank you, Sheila. Sheila really made me feel like I did a lot of work in 30 plus years in the government. I just kind of did what they told me to do and had a great team behind me. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sheila. And I want to thank Ohio Dominican for hosting our event today and to the Columbus Chamber for putting this event on. Before I get started, I do want to thank our team out at SWACO. They work hard day in and day out to make us a more environmentally safe and resourceful region, and because of the work of that team, Central Ohio really does a great job in the environmental space. So I want to take this moment to thank the entire staff at SWACO for all they do each day. To give you a little background on SWACO, in 1988 the state of Ohio passed House Bill 592, which created solid waste districts to reduce reliance on landfills. As part of that bill, districts are required to create programs to divert material and provide education regarding diversion. So today's discussion is important to the overall mission at SWACO. In fact, it might surprise you to know that not only do we receive more than 1 million tons of waste each year in our landfill, but 76% of that material that comes in our landfill doesn't belong in there. It could be reused, it could be repurposed, it could be recycled or composted before it was even thrown away. And that includes your glass jars, cardboard boxes, plastic bottles, and the such. They are valuable. You're going to hear from our panelists today about the value of these materials bring to each of their businesses and the circular economy. During today's breakout session, you're going to learn so much, like how MRC Medical successfully negotiated up the supply chain in order to ship products that are packaged differently and requires less cardboard. Damon Carson's repurposed materials presentation will open your eyes to diversion options that you may not be aware of. And as a logistics provider, you can then present options to your customers. Jake Heffron from Rumpke will be sharing about the new material recovery facility and the capabilities they have to help businesses divert more materials. Matter of fact, that MRF is located very close to here, probably right down the street, about 3 minutes away. It's a beautiful facility. If you haven't had a chance to tour it, get with Jake, I'm sure you can set them up. And so much more is going to happen today. It's going to be jam-packed. At SWACO, we're interested in nurturing the businesses that are here today and connecting you with folks that have recyclable materials that might help your business grow. As I travel around the solid waste district, I talk to companies all the time, and all I keep hearing is, we need more material. So I challenge each of us in this room to commit to recycling right by recycling all that you can each day, and with your help, we can create a sustainable future for our region. So right now, I'd like to call the 3 panelists up, and I will introduce them one by one. I am joined today by Shannon Crawford Gay, Director, Recycling and Environmental Policy for WM. Shannon has been actively involved with the recycling and infrastructure industry for over 15 years. In her role, she provides guidance on legislation and regulations impacting WM's recycling operations and works with internal stakeholders to build consensus on WM policy. I also want to introduce Sean State, President of Pratt Industries. Sean State has worked in the corrugated packaging and recycling industry for over 30 years and is currently the President of Pratt's Recycling Division, with his team having responsibility for operations and procurement in 20 recycling facilities across the United States. Sean's team is also responsible for procurement into Pratt's 6 100% recycled fiber paper mills, which combined consume over 2.3 million tons of recovered fiber annually. And finally, I want to introduce Ryan Hatfield, Vice President of SBC Solutions Group. Ryan possesses a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience in all facets of the paper and plastic industries. Ryan serves as a salesman, financial analyst, and business development professional. So now I would like to invite all 3 of you up to the table and we can get started with our panel discussion. Please welcome our panelists. Now for all the hard stuff. I've got a lot of questions up here that are going to make you think, so be prepared. So we're going to start with Shannon. Shannon, share with us a little bit about what you do and how your business is connected to Ohio's circular economy.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Shannon Crawford Gay, and I work on policy at WM. And so just a little bit about us and why Central Ohio is important to us. So WM, we recently rebranded from Waste Management to WM because we're more than just a waste company. And as part of that, we have very significant sustainability goals. And one of those is right now, annually, we recover a little over 15 million tons of material. And our goal is by 2030 to increase that number to 25 million tons of material annually. So it is very, very important to us to grow our sustainability footprint, whether or not that's facilities or working with businesses to help them divert, perfectly usable office furniture from the landfill. We have a lot of different business lines that work on that. And one thing I want to highlight, just to showcase how important Ohio is to WM, is our Cleveland recycling facility. And so that is something that we've invested approximately $30 million in upgrading that facility. And it is open for business, and that is where we're really trying to help drive an increased use of these materials and increase the circular economy in the state.
And you have a really great golf outing that happens every year in Phoenix, by the way.
Yeah, so I've heard, because I'm a policy wonk, I'm a little bit behind, so I don't go to it, but I've heard it's really great, and I hope you all can attend someday. But because of that, I will just say that since you mentioned it, the work that we do making that a zero waste event has really informed an entire section of our team called WM Sustainability Advisory Services. And those are the groups that actually go out and work with Major League Baseball, for example. We are their sustainability partner now. And that's actually informed by the work that we've done. Sorry, I know I've got notes on how to use this microphone. That is informed by the work that we've done with the WMPO.
Ryan, tell us a little bit about your business and how you're helping the circular economy.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm Ryan Hatfield with SBC Solutions Group. We are a privately held small business. We were started in 1992 by my father, so I am the vice president. I'm also one of the owners. And because we're a small privately held business, we are also head cooks, bottle washers, forklift operators, doing whatever it is we have to do. I've been in this industry for 32 years, and it's all I've ever done. The business was started when I was still in college. So short of an internship in college, all I've ever known is recycling and sustainability. The way we approach things is kind of a grassroots, boots on the ground type of concept. We like to meet people. And I know, when COVID hit years ago, we were all talking through computers and talking on phones, and we weren't allowed to travel. And that was quite painful for me because I love to be out in the marketplace talking with people. And our motto is we are a company that manages all pounds, any pounds. So we are in the recycling and sustainability business. We're a solutions provider. So whether it is recycling or product destruction or waste audits or paper, plastic, metals, we are involved with all those things. In the mechanical recycling world, we also are, working also in the advanced recycling world as well. We love to sit and chat with people. We love to sit and train. That's one of the things that we'll talk about more today is awareness of recycling, how to do recycling. And that's one of the things that we try to get through with our boots on the ground and grassroots campaign, the way we market ourselves. So that's all I've ever done. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Ryan. Sean, tell us how Pratt Industries is doing their part in the circular economy.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. As Joe mentioned, Pratt has 6 paper mills in the U.S. One of them is here in Wapakoneta, Ohio. We also have a recycling facility in Wapakoneta, Ohio. And our mill in Wapakoneta requires about 400,000 tons annually of old corrugated containers and mixed paper in order to produce container board. So if you go buy a box from Home Depot, or if you get an Amazon box delivered to your house, you get something from Procter & Gamble, any large consumer products company that you can think of, in all likelihood, Pratt is making boxes for that company. It's important for us to support the recycling industry, to support folks like Waste Management and Rumpke, SBC, We get fiber from all of different types of folks, and if you put your fiber in your bin in Ohio, it is going to get recycled, and in all likelihood, maybe even end up at our mill.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I know in speaking with some of our colleagues out there and our partners, you know, the narrative is that recycling is not really happening, but when you look around Ohio, 90% of what is put in our recycling bin stays in Ohio, which is great. Few of it goes out of state, but obviously we can say that 90% of what we're doing in Ohio stays in Ohio's recycled products. That's a great record. I don't know too many states that can say that. So I know WM, you take the recycle, SBC and Pratt would love to have them. So I want to start with you, Sean. What are some of the challenges of the current state of recycling, and how's that affecting your business?
I'd say there's probably two big challenges. One is, in fact, Joe, I think you mentioned it, you or Sheila mentioned it, the contamination in recycling. You're seeing stuff go to landfill that can be recycled. You know, that needs to be put in the bin, and then when you do put it in the bin, just make sure that it's not contaminated. That's a big issue. Material recovery facilities have to get that contamination out in order to ship good product to mills, whether it's a paper mill or it's somebody processing PET or aluminum. So that's one big issue. And then the second is just accessibility and making sure that communities have the ability to have recycling programs. Two probably bigger issues.
Ryan?
I think that part of the challenges is something that's actually pretty common, is simple awareness and knowing how to physically do recycling, which is part of the reason why we have the grassroots campaign and the boots on the ground. It's trying to teach people what can be recycled, how it gets recycled, things of that nature. I also think that we were actually talking about this on our call. We all had a call the other day, and I jokingly said it, but I was serious, that I wish that engineers and manufacturers would have conversations with folks like us before they go and manufacture something that can't be recycled, or that can't be recycled very easily. So part of the problem with the recycling industry, or the shortcomings of the recycling industry, is making sure that the engineers and the manufacturing are on the same wavelength as those of us that are in the sustainability industry, because that way we can try to make a part that's going to be easier to recycle. And if they would concentrate more on the recyclability of that part versus the how cheaply they can make that part, it would go a long way for us. I also think that there is a slippery slope or a tightrope that everybody has to walk, where you try to balance profitability and sustainability. So, you know, you've got to, you know, every business, and I'm going to speak with my business owner hat on for a second. Everybody has to make money. That's the way it works. Small businesses, large businesses, all have to turn a profit, all have to be able to cash flow. Sometimes sustainability gets in the way of profits, because to be sustainable, it oftentimes costs money. And so there is a slippery slope or a tightrope that people have to walk to balance profitability and sustainability. And what my company does is to try to design programs that are going to be able to not break your bank, but also increase your diversion and meet that fine line in between. Because at the end of the day, like I said, everybody has to make money. Your sustainability goals and your diversion metrics don't mean all that much if you're not cash flowing and your business and you go out of business. So balancing that is a challenge as well.
Shannon, I know you probably are chomping at the bit about this question, just because as a processor, WM and the like are always looking for more recycled materials to sell back to companies like SBC and to Pratt. So what are some of the challenges that you see at WMs?
So, you know, everything that Sean and Ryan already said, I'm totally on board with. And just one additional thing, just so that I don't have to rehash everything we've already discussed, but One additional thing I would say is lack of end markets for some of the materials that we know our customers want to recycle. And so an example of this is film plastic. This is something that WM is investing heavily in film capture systems. And I know that there's other members of the industry who are doing the same thing. But that's because, we're kind of getting a market signal from customers that they would like to be able to recycle this. And so how do we solve for that? How do we find consistent, which is very, very key for a company like WM, consistent end markets for this material? And there's obviously some that exist in the state, but additionally, we're looking for more. And we're trying to solve for that right now. And how we get there as an industry is still kind of an open book. But I would say that trying to solve for that, can we get film plastic back into food grade type material, and what type of technologies will that require, and then how much will that ultimately cost? Because unfortunately, we're all business owners, but we're all business folks here, and some of these materials cost a little bit more to process just because they are inherently less easy to handle materials.
So you're telling me recycling is not free? You don't have to. Well, and you've said it, all of you've said it, the challenge is recycle right, and to make sure people are aware, and I'm going to, and again, pat my team on the back, because that's what we try to do each and every day, is to make people aware and educate them on exactly what to recycle. I'm a big proponent of our children and teaching them, because I'll say it amongst friends, they'll shame us into doing the right thing. So the more we can get into our schools and the more that we can educate them, the more they can educate old people like me. They know a heck of a lot more about this than I did at their age. So I think it's important for the young people to get engaged in this process. So we've talked about the circular economy and what that means to your businesses, but just for the audience and for my own purposes, define the circular economy as you see it. And Ryan, we'll start with you.
Well, circular economy is, it's reduce, reuse, recycle, renewal, close the loop, circle of life. In a nutshell, there's all different kinds of ways that you can define circular economy. The easiest way, at least in my opinion, the easiest way is to give examples of circular economy, because I think that that's something that that you can see it. So just a couple of examples of circular economy that we've created with some of our customers. We have a nationwide return program with one of our customers that's a shoe manufacturer, and they distribute and sell shoes. And we put together a program with them on a national scale where, as their customers come into their stores to purchase a new pair of shoes, they bring their old pair of shoes to the stores. The stores collect those shoes, and then they ship used shoes back to one of our facilities, either in Ohio or in Georgia. And we take those shoes and they are recycled. Another example that we have, and you touched on it with the film, film recycling is, especially when we're in a room full of logistics and 3PL communities. But film is, recycling film is always going to be a challenge, and everybody has it. And so one of the programs that we have set up is we are collecting film from one of our customers. We are reprocessing that film. That reprocessed film scrap is being used as raw materials. That raw material is being used to create new film rolls, and then we are taking the new film rolls made out of recycled content and distributing it back to the original source of the scrap film. So it starts at that facility and ends back at that facility, and we partner with companies to help us to manage that flow, and so that's circle of life. So, like I said, there's so many definitions of circular economy, so I thought it would be best to give examples of things that we can do, or that any of us can do in our industry to help make your lives easier.
So Sean, I'll pose the same question. I know Pratt is part of that circular economy just because you're bringing in
Yeah, it's similar to what Ryan mentioned. We actually have a program that we call Close the Loop, and we currently work with over 800 corrugated box customers that we sell boxes to. We handle their recycling as well. So we'll pick up their recycling, take it back to one of our facilities, bale it, send it to our mill. The mill produces container board. That's then sent to a box plant where we make corrugated boxes, and then it's sent out to the consumer to start the cycle all over again. So because we're vertically integrated, we're able to work with many customers, and turn what you're putting into your recycle bin, or if you have a commercial industrial business and you're putting it into an 8-yard container, or you're baling it up, that material's going to come back to us, and we'll make a box out of it.
Shannon, same question.
So a couple examples that we have internally at WM would be would be our driver uniforms, or our frontline employee uniforms. So we work with a company called Reprieve, where PET that we collect on our routes is sent to a facility and then made into polyester fiber, and then actually made into the uniforms that all of our frontline employees use. So I think that that's just, I don't know, that's so cool. That's actually material that we're collecting. In addition to that, our recycling carts that we use all of them have recycled content in them. So that's HDPE, and again, it's kind of the same story. We work with 2 different companies on that, Re-Rig and Cascade, to make sure that the HDPE that we're collecting, that's one of the end uses for that. And so that's enterprise-wide. And so with that, we're one of the demand champions for the Association of Plastics Recyclers. That's a program that we have. So all of this information is publicly available. But so those are just 2 really specific examples, but then just higher level. As part of our advisory services or working with businesses, we're looking at circular manufacturing. And, I have a note to give a shout out to the Ohio Manufacturing Association that, we partner with them on work to kind of do those business-to-business relationships. And I think that those are just a couple of examples. And I love, obviously, all the examples that Ryan and Sean already gave, because those are very relevant to our business as well.
Well, thank you, and I know we're running up against time. I got 2 quick questions. Ryan and Sean, I'm going to spare you this question. This does feel a little bit like to me right now, it's kind of weird. It feels like one of those political town hall meetings, so I'm trying to keep this here. But I want to segue to from this question. I'm going to pose it to Shannon just because of your role. What can lawmakers and policymakers do to help create a more circular economy? What are some of the things that you think they can do from a legislative standpoint?
From a legislative standpoint, I would recommend a well-crafted recycled content law. And so that is something where, the makers of packaging would have to use a certain level of recycled content. Typically, these are laws that we would see for one particular material type. Let's say that it is plastic. And what it actually helps do is raise the level of the entire recycling system. So one of the issues that we run into with our line of business is volatile commodity pricing. And so with something like a recycled content mandate, again, not something, you'll see recycled content mandates sometimes that have like a 90% recycled content mandate. So that's just a ban. And the folks pushing that type of legislation are not, they're not being genuine about what they want. But a well-crafted one that's crafted with the input of the brands or the companies that would actually be using the recycled content, I think could be very valuable, because then if it raises the overall commodity prices, one of the nice things that we do with a lot of just an industry practice is sharing the revenue of the commodities back with our municipal customers. That is just a way that certain contracts are written. And so when you actually have that higher level of revenue because you have a recycled content mandate, it allows for, to raise the tide for all of these ships. And so I'm a policy wonk, so those are the types of things that I think about all the time. I didn't realize that it might be such a sensitive issue, you know, but that's why I want to make sure it's well crafted. So WM, we have, you know, our municipal customers, but then we also have national accounts and big major brands that are national companies. And so a recycled content law would be crafted along with those folks through a number of different trade associations that we participate in. Because again, it's not punitive. It would be to just increase the circular economy within a state that chose to do that.
Well, thank you, Ms. Hurd, for putting me on the spot. So the last question, and first of all, I want to thank our panelists. 35 minutes goes like that when you're up here. We could probably sit here all day and have this conversation, but we do have to move on. And so I will ask all of you one last question. We'll start with Sean, and that is, what is one thought today that you would love to leave our audience with as they go back to their homes and their businesses to think about?
Okay, well, I'll do it quick, and I'll do two. One is, I've already touched on it. If you put material in your bin, it actually does get recycled. A lot of folks don't believe that, but it actually does. And the second thing is, logistics is an extremely important part of the recycling chain. Pratt actually has their own logistics division, well over 500 drivers, tractors, thousands of trailers. We bring in about 100 loads a day into each of our mills, so that's 600 loads a day. About 40% of that's on Pratt logistics trailers. The balance is on third-party logistics trucks and trailers. And it's extremely important, and we want to make sure that somehow, some way, we're getting drivers into the system, and the trucking industry remains profitable and robust. It's very important.
Ryan?
Well, like Sean, it's impossible for us to have one thought to leave you folks with. But I would say have fun with recycling. Keep talking about recycling. Keep it in front of people's face. If we keep talking about it, sooner or later, cultures will change. I mean, it's very easy to get stuck in the, well, this is the normal thing we do, and we don't recycle now, and things of that nature. So we've got to help create a new culture. We've got to create a new normal. So keep talking about it. Have fun with it. As leaders in our respective fields, just like you folks are leaders in your respective fields, it's up to all of us to cast a vision. We've got to cast a vision, because at the end of the day, it's going to be the forklift drivers, it's going to be the truck drivers, it's going to be the people on the assembly lines that are going to be actually facilitating the recycling. They are the boots on the ground in recycling. So if they don't understand what to do, or they don't buy into what the vision is, ultimately a program will be destined to fail. So keep it in front of them, stay excited about it, stay passionate about it, have fun with it, and cast your vision.
All right. I would say that our message to the audience would be that we would love to do business with you. I've already mentioned that Central Ohio is a really important part of our sustainability growth plan. And in addition to our Columbus commercial recycling facility that we have here, we also obviously have the Cleveland one, and we have the infrastructure to transport materials, to both of these facilities. So, that's just a really important thing that we want to make sure that folks know. And then also with our advisory services, we love we call ourselves a logistics company too, so we would love to work with businesses to help kind of solve some of these, some of these interesting issues that logistically businesses run into. So, yeah, thanks.
So I think we were going to have a Q&A if we have time. If not, we don't have time. Okay, save just Q&A. Again, I want to thank Shannon, Brian, and Sean for being here today and giving us some insight. And thanks to all of you for allowing us to do this, and give them a great round of applause.
All right, real quickly as we wrap up. 1, there's more coffee. 2, all of the breakout rooms are upstairs. There's stairs and there's elevator. Don't forget the vendor tables. And you have now about 12 minutes to get to your respective rooms. If you don't have a sheet with the rooms on it, please check at the front. Thanks, have a great day.